Okay, just imagine for a second opening your mail and finding a monthly bill for exactly this amount, $920 million every single month. I mean, that is just an absolutely massive number, right? Well, that's exactly the check one of the biggest tech giants on the planet is getting ready to write. And get this, they aren't writing it to a traditional cloud company, they're writing it to an aerospace company. Welcome to The Explainer. I am so glad you're here with us today, because we're going to be looking at how what sounds like, just a dry, standard B2B cloud contract is actually evolving into the literal future of human computing. We're breaking down this monumental new partnership between Google and Elon Musk's SpaceX. It's a deal involving hundreds of thousands of advanced chips, a highly anticipated stock market debut, and quite possibly servers floating in outer space. Part 1. The billion-dollar compute deal. All right, let's dive right into this. According to a recent SEC filing reported by the Times of India, Google has officially agreed to pay SpaceX nearly $1 billion every 30 days. But what exactly does that kind of mind-blowing money actually buy you these days? Well, Google isn't just, renting a few extra servers to keep things running. They're securing access to an absolutely massive hardware load. The filing details that this compute capacity includes roughly 110,000 NVIDIA GPUs, alongside huge arrays of CPUs, memory, and all the related components. 110,000 GPUs. That is just an unbelievable amount of raw processing power. It's exactly the kind of horsepower you need to run the next generation of AI. So, you gotta wonder, why does Google, a company that basically invented the modern data center, need to rent hardware from SpaceX? Well, in their own words, Google calls this a short-term, timely agreement to ensure they have bridge capacity to meet surging customer demand for their agent platform, Gemini Enterprise. Basically, the demand for their new AI products has just exploded, way higher than they even anticipated, so they had to find an immediate lifeline. SpaceX is stepping in to provide that critical bridge capacity, just to make sure Google doesn't fall behind in this crazy competitive AI race. Part 2. Inside the SEC fine print. Now, what's really interesting here is how this partnership is actually going to play out over the next few years. Let's trace this timeline together. Right now, the capacity is ramping up at a reduced fee through September of 2026. Then, in October 2026, bam, that official $920 million monthly billing kicks in. But there are some incredibly high stakes attached to this. If SpaceX fails to deliver access to those guaranteed NVIDIA chips by September 30th, Google has the right to just completely walk away and terminate the contract with only a 1-month grace period. If it all goes smoothly, though, after December 31st, 2026, a 90-day termination window opens up for either side, and the whole deal officially wraps in June of 2029. And hey, just to be absolutely clear on the data security side of things, Google is definitely making sure its secrets stay safe. Even though they're renting all this physical hardware from Elon Musk's company, Google strictly retains all ownership and IP rights for its content, its AI models, the data, all of it. So they're renting the engine, but they are keeping the blueprint securely locked away in their own vault. Part 3. The AI compute arms race. This really brings us to a much broader realization about where tech is right now. We are smack in the middle of this intense AI compute arms race, and SpaceX is quietly positioning itself as the ultimate landlord in this space. When you look at SpaceX's recent deals side by side, it's pretty wild. On one side, we've got this Google deal we've been talking about, $920 million a month through mid-2029 for computing at an undisclosed location. But on the other side, back in late May, it came out that the AI company Anthropic agreed to pay SpaceX $1.25 billion per month through 2029. That is to rent out all available compute from the Colossus One data center down near Memphis, Tennessee, a facility that Musk's company xAI originally built.
And this brilliantly illustrates the true scale of what SpaceX is doing here. When you combine that Anthropic deal with the Google deal, SpaceX is pulling in a combined $2.17 billion in revenue for AI compute capacity every single month. They have essentially become the most lucrative tech real estate agents on the planet, renting out raw computing power to the highest bidders. And why does this matter to us? Because whoever controls the computing power ultimately dictates how fast the consumer AI tools we use every day get developed and rolled out.
Part 4. Timing the SpaceX IPO. Now, in the business world, you definitely do not announce billions of dollars in guaranteed monthly revenue by accident. The timing of this SEC filing is just incredibly strategic. Reports are showing that SpaceX stock is expected to start trading on the NASDAQ exchange in just a matter of days. By suddenly revealing they've secured over $2 billion a month in locked-in revenue from two of the absolute biggest players in AI, SpaceX is dramatically boosting its financial profile right before hitting the public market. It is literally a masterclass in timing and market psychology. Oh, and here is a really fascinating twist to all of this. Google itself is actually a longtime investor in SpaceX. Once this IPO goes live, Google's stake in Musk's company is expected to be worth more than a staggering $100 billion. So yeah, Google is paying SpaceX almost $1 billion a month to rent servers, but at the exact same time, they are poised to make an absolute fortune as SpaceX shareholders.
But we gotta ask, where is all this computing actually happening? We know the Anthropic stuff is running down at that Colossus 1 facility in Memphis, but the reports explicitly note that SpaceX hasn't revealed which specific data center Google is going to be using, which really begs the question, where is it? I mean, we are talking about an aerospace company whose primary business is launching rockets into orbit after all.
Part 5. Next stop, orbital data centers.
Let's see how this builds into, honestly, the most mind-bending part of this whole explainer. This is not just science fiction anymore, guys. This is actively being discussed in boardrooms today. According to the reporting, Google and SpaceX are currently in talks to build orbital data centers. Yes, actual data centers floating out in space. This is officially listed as a major component of SpaceX's future strategy. Even Google CEO Sundar Pichai has publicly confirmed the company's serious interest in space compute. They are quite literally looking to push the AI arms race past the Earth's atmosphere.
So you really have to step back and ask yourself, are we actually witnessing the birth of the off-world internet? What starts off as a $920 million bridge loan for Google's Gemini AI might just be the very first building block for moving human computing completely off the surface of the Earth. It totally rewrites how we think about infrastructure, cloud computing, and honestly, the limitless boundaries of artificial intelligence. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. Keep your eyes on the stars and definitely on that upcoming IPO, because the future of computing is moving faster than ever.